You have a list saved somewhere. Maybe a note on your phone. Maybe a folder in your browser bookmarks. Cities you told yourself you'd never go back to. And one of them I'd bet money is on this list. 17.6 million veterans are living in America right now. And the ones who are leaving aren't leaving quietly. They're leaving with a plan. Not because they hate cities, because they did the math. And the math broke against Detroit, against Newark, against Baltimore not once, but year after year, dataset after dataset. The gap between the best city and the worst city for a veteran is not close. WalletHub measured it. 29 times the difference in income growth. 6 times difference in poverty rate. That's not a bad neighborhood. That's a structural failure. I've looked at every major veteran relocation study published since 2020. WalletHub, Veterans United, Military.com. There's a pattern so consistent, it stops being a coincidence. The same 9 cities appear at the bottom. The same 5 small towns appear at the top. And the veterans who figured this out early, they aren't coming back. What I'm going to show you in the next few minutes is the full picture. 9 cities that are bleeding veteran population. 5 towns that are quietly pulling them in. And one number at the end, one specific data point about a town in South Dakota that'll reframe everything you thought you knew about where veterans thrive. You won't see it coming. Detroit, Michigan. Veteran unemployment rate, 14.6%. Median veteran income, $32,000. 23% of veterans in poverty. That's not a recession-era snapshot. That's the current operating condition of a city that once housed one of the largest concentrations of defense industry workers in the Midwest. The civilian economy collapsed. The veteran support infrastructure never recovered. And the population figures confirm it. Veteran numbers in Detroit are shrinking faster than almost anywhere else in the country. Newark, New Jersey. Median veteran income below $28,000. 19% in poverty. The housing market offers no relief. The job market offers no runway. There's no nearby base driving employment. No anchor institution pulling in defense contracts. What's left is a city asking veterans to survive on less than what they earned in uniform, without the structure, without the mission, and without a clear way out. Memphis, Tennessee. This one surprises people because Tennessee has a reputation as veteran-friendly, but Memphis, specifically negative job growth since 2020. Veteran unemployment at 8.2%. Median income $47,000, which sounds reasonable, until you check the VA healthcare access scores. They lag behind almost every comparable city in the country. You can have a paycheck and still lose years off your life waiting for care. Toledo, Ohio. Median veteran income, $40,000. More than 14% of veterans below the poverty line. Toledo has been in a long, slow population decline for over a decade. Veterans who moved there for affordability found that affordable and livable aren't the same word. Baltimore, Maryland. Bottom 10 on WalletHub's rankings consistently, not occasionally. High veteran poverty. Limited employment in defense sectors. The city has real history, real culture. It also has structural conditions that work against veterans at every income level. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Defense sector employment is limited. Crime rates run higher than average. The combination of constrained opportunity and elevated risk makes it a compounding problem, not a simple one. Veterans who arrived expecting the South's lower cost of living found that cost of living doesn't cancel out cost of safety. Cleveland, Ohio. High unemployment, struggling economic base. Veterans need 2 things above everything else when they transition out: employment and stability. Cleveland offers uncertain versions of both. Chicago, Illinois. Bottom 5 on WalletHub. Not bottom 20, not bottom 10, bottom 5. Poor economic outlook for veterans specifically, and a cost of living that doesn't match the income ceiling available in the veteran job market. San Bernardino, California. Consistently bottom 10. High cost of living, limited veteran-specific resources, elevated poverty among veteran households. California offers a lot of things. Affordable veteran life is not one of them in San Bernardino. Now here's what the data doesn't show you on the surface. The veterans leaving these cities aren't chasing excitement. They're not moving toward nightlife or prestige neighborhoods. They're moving toward specific, measurable conditions. Slower pace of life, that's the #1 self-reported reason in rural migration surveys. #2, safety and security. #3, recreation, access, and relief from commute. These are not abstract preferences. They're operational requirements for people who spent years in high-stress environments and need the recovery conditions to match. Every year, approximately 200,000 military members transition to civilian life. Relocation is a built-in part of that transition. The question is never whether to move. The question is where the conditions support what comes next. The list I've built for members of this channel covers not just where veterans are moving, but why the specific conditions in each location map to what the research actually says veterans need post-service. Every location is cross-referenced against WalletHub, Veterans United, and Census migration data. Every entry is current. Wichita Falls, Texas. Out of more than 500 cities ranked for veteran community strength, Wichita Falls scored 166.71. The national average is 128.1. That gap, nearly 40 points, doesn't come from one good program or one friendly mayor. It comes from Shepherd Air Force Base nearby, from organizations like Base Camp Lindsay, actively working to eliminate veteran homelessness, and from a community that has built its identity around people who served. Home prices are affordable. The infrastructure is real, not performative. Running costs so far. One relocation decision, with data behind it. Keep going. Rochester, Minnesota. The anchor institution here is the Mayo Clinic. That single fact has turned Rochester into a magnet for military retirees who need serious world-class healthcare access, not the VA lottery. Crime score, 90.71. National average is 19 points lower. Clean, safe, committed. The combination of elite medical access and low crime is not accidental. It's the reason veterans with families are choosing Rochester over cities 3 times its size. That brings us to the next item, Watertown, New York. Fort Drum is nearby. That proximity matters for 2 reasons: employment in defense-adjacent sectors, and a community that already understands military culture. You don't have to explain a deployment schedule or a VA appointment. The median home price sits well below the national median. Veterans United ranked it in the top 10 for 2024. It earns that ranking. Total so far: 3 small towns with specific, documented, verifiable reasons, not just vibes. Altoona, Pennsylvania. Median home price, $129,950. In the current housing market, that number is almost disorienting. It's the most affordable entry point of any city in the top 10. Strong veteran community, low cost of living. For veterans who transitioned out with savings but no pension, Altoona is the kind of place where the math finally works in your direction instead of against you. And here's the frame that matters. The average military family in a high-cost urban area spends $336 per month above their basic allowance for housing. Every month. That's $4,032 a year. Gone not to a mortgage, not to equity, just to a gap between allowance and reality. Altoona closes that gap. Out of pocket for the research that got you here. Nothing. Keep watching. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. This is the number. Cost of living score, 90.17, the highest affordability score in the entire top 10. Below the national median on housing. Low crime. Strong veteran community infrastructure. South Dakota has no state income tax. That's not a minor footnote. For a veteran living on a combination of disability compensation, pension, and part-time employment, no state income tax is a compounding advantage that grows every year you stay. The veterans who moved to Sioux Falls 5 years ago are not talking about leaving. The math doesn't give them a reason to. Dollar for dollar, The 5 towns on this list don't just beat the 9 cities at the bottom. They beat most of the cities in the middle. The conditions aren't similar. They're categorically different. Here's what shifts when you see this data clearly. You stop asking, "Where can I afford to live?" and start asking, "Which conditions produce the outcomes I'm building toward?" That question has a different answer, and it points to different places. The veterans who made the move early didn't have more information than you do right now. They just acted on it, while others were still debating whether the city they were in might turn around. It won't. The data sets go back a decade. The same names appear at the bottom every year. That's not a trend. That's a structure. Take the cost of living number from Sioux Falls 90.17 and compare it against whatever city you're currently in. Run that comparison for your household income. Drop the result in the comments. I'll tell you exactly where you stand relative to the national average for veterans in your income bracket. If this channel is useful to you, subscribe. The next video covers something the relocation data almost never addresses, and it changes the calculation completely.